for this week's review of 30 Days of Night, starring Josh Hartnett.
Showtime.
There are the windows. Try to hide. They're coming.
They? Who are they?
They're like vampires, you know?
Vampires don't exist, Jake.
That cold ain't the weather. That's death approaching.
They're tearing through everyone's home.
We can last a month.
If you want to hear a little rant I made about horror movies, then stick around after the rating. Another horror movie is upon us, and this one is even boasting that it was adapted from a graphic novel. Why is this important to mention? That's right, the movie 300. So the question is, will this movie come anywhere near that adaptation and be a great movie? Unfortunately, no. There really isn't anything special about 30 Days of Night. Now, the location was pretty good, and it was nice to see a movie based in the cold and snow, because this isn't very common. And for a horror movie, this brings me back to one of my all-time favorites, John Carpenter's The Thing. The movie does have a decent beginning and build-up, and the cast is okay. And I was not a fan of Josh Hartnett at all, after movies like Pearl Harbor, 40 Days and 40 Nights, and one of the biggest flops in Hollywood history, Town and Country. I didn't know if he could ever crawl out of that trash. But after doing movies like Sin City, Lucky No. 11, and Resurrecting the Champ, it looks like he may be on his way to having a solid Hollywood career. I have no idea what made him make this movie 2 hours long. Usually comedies and horror movies try to clock in close to an hour and a half if they are pretty weak. And maybe they thought this movie was a little bit better than it actually was. You'll find that in the middle of the movie it does stall and sputter quite a bit, and it becomes a very basic run and hide horror movie. But of the positive things in the movie, it does have a few decent action scenes, and they do use some pretty cool camera angles in the movie. Unfortunately, this is a very small percentage of the movie, and after the initial hook, it becomes pretty much like all the others. The problem is that after the initial action and setup, the movie just drags on, and the characters really weren't that interesting. Now, I will say the ending was actually decent, nothing great, but not a total letdown either. So I will say if they cut the movie down to about an hour and 20 minutes, it may have been a much better movie. The middle was just too bland and drawn out. It seemed like the whole thing they were using to make this movie unique was the fact that when the vampires bite you, they don't want to turn you. So they behead their victims, this way they won't become a vampire too. Now, this is okay, but it really wasn't a unique enough twist on the vampire genre to make a special movie about it. Overall, this movie does have some highs and lows, and unfortunately, too many lulls to make it a great time. But if you are a diehard vampire fan or horror fan, you may enjoy yourself. But for the rest of you, I'd probably say just rent it. For my overall rating, I give 30 Days of Night 2.5 stars. I have a message and an offer for Hollywood, and I really hope they take me up on it. Hire me to round up and kill every stupid character in horror movies, so we never have to see them again. Believe me, this won't spoil this movie for you, but does there always have to be a stupid argument among people who are basically dead meat? Human nature is to bond when threatened by an outsider or an outside force, yet no one in Hollywood seems to figure this out. See War of the Worlds, Saw 2, Final Destination 3, and countless others for good examples of how people would not act if they were truly threatened by an outside force. And does there always have to be some moron who has to leave for no reason? You've just seen hundreds of people killed, and you're hiding and they haven't found you. And all of a sudden, you just gotta be someplace else. Give me a break. Please, anyone working on a horror movie or working on a horror script, email me and I'll help you get rid of these terrible horror cliches that are in your script or movie. Is there like one guy out there who has to write every horror script? And maybe this is like his little joke that he has the same moron in every movie. It's like it's his trademark. Is there part of the Screenwriters or Screen Actors Guild where this character must be in every horror movie? And let me try to describe this in a way that maybe you can understand, Hollywood. Let's say a ship wrecks, and there are 100 people that fall in the ocean, and all but 10 of them get eaten by sharks, and the remaining survivors are on a small rubber raft. So there are hundreds of sharks swimming around them, and you can see them because their fins are everywhere. So one of the 10 people stands up and says, I can't take it anymore. I gotta jump in the water, I just have to. And the others say, you can't, the sharks will eat you. No, I can't stay here, or I'll die here too. So Moron jumps in the water, and he gets eaten. How many times must we see this stupid character in these movies? Again, Hollywood, please contact me and hire me to kill this character off once and for all. He's killing our enjoyment of the movies you make. And I think this character's been around longer than that damn Energizer Bunny. Okay, I feel better now.